Okay, everybody, Teching here, back using the shitty webcam quality. You know, it's just annoying, you know, whenever I go and I film all my Bleach videos on my Teching 101 channel with the professional HD camera, and I have all the cool editing software, and then I shudder when I have to go back to the ghetto stuff, but, you know, it just takes longer to render, and this is just an update vid, so whatever, just gonna have to deal with it. Alright, so, Pokemon X, gotta capture them all, update video, Part 3! Alright, well, let's start off with some good news. It's like a board meeting, you know? It's just like, okay, alright, so let's pin the minutes from last meeting here, you know? So you said, okay. Well, I'm very happy to announce that thanks to your help, I am in your debt. I said you are in my debt last time, but I am in your debt. I have captured, or at least logged, every Pokemon that is obtainable in the game without using the GTS. I have pretty much captured, well, I have captured every single one without using, like, GTS. Like, that's, like, what I mean is, like, Kyogre and Groudon and Mew and all the ones that you can only get through other games. Every Pokemon that's available in Pokemon X, I have, either through capturing in the wild, trading between X and Y, the Friend Safari, all the evolutions in the Pokemon in the Friend Safari, all the pre-evolutions in the Friend Safari, all logged in my Pokedex. I have captured, let me just double check this to make sure. Think it's like 600 and something. Yeah, I know, 600 and something. I'm going crazy here, guys. I gotta go crazy mad scientist hair for this one. Alright, so 605 Pokemon. Look at that. That's freaking nuts. 605. You can't really see it because the white balance is crazy. But I still have about 100 and something to go. 718, so that'd be actually 113 Pokemon. So hey, that sounds like a lot. And it is, but when you consider the fact of, you know, 718, like I was down at my friend's the other day, and I was going through his 3DS to see what Pokemon he had, and, you know, I looked at his, like, the ones he had, and it was like, it's 60, so I'm thinking, wow, okay, I have no goddamn life. But, alright, so here's the deal. Pokemon Bank was released in Japan on the 25th, so that was 2 days ago, and here's the thing, it should have been released today in America and everywhere else. It should have been released today on the 27th. I looked into it this morning on the eShop. It didn't have it. I just checked again, like just now, a little bit ago, and it's actually in this region. I don't know what it means, but I got an error message that basically said Nintendo eShop has closed their server or has restricted internet access in my region, which I'm just assuming means the United States. The only reason I could think of that is maybe it did come online, Pokemon Bank, and just so many people were downloading it that it was clearly not available, or they decided to close their servers down because they were doing like too much traffic. Actually, I think that's what it said, too much traffic, but that could be for another reason. I don't have any freaking idea. But, alright, so, this is the final stretch right here, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm to have every Pokemon in my Pokedex, and it's also probably the part that's the most the most difficult, honestly. Because up to this point, you know, it was just the Pokemon were available in the games, so even though they're the most obscure ones you can get, they are still available in the game. This time around, they're not. The only way to get them is from other games, which adds to the difficulty a little bit. Adding to the difficulty is also pretty much out of those 113 Pokemon I need, pretty much all of, I don't even want to say the majority, but a good chunk are legendaries. And those legendaries are not ones people like to part with usually. Like, yeah, Teching, I would love to give you my Regigigas, but I love my Regigigas, so I'm sorry, I'm not trading you my Regigigas. See, you can say whatever you want, you're not trading it back to me, I'm keeping that sucker. So, look, here's the thing, I'll say it again. If you have, I'm putting a full list below. It's going to be like, you don't have to go through the whole thing. It's like 100 Pokemon long, but below me is a compiled list of every single Pokemon that's yet to be in my Pokedex, every single one, and, you know, like, there's a bulk of them that are legendaries, and like I said before in the last video, with the legendary birds, like, I needed my Moltres, and a kind soul, I said to him, just, like, send me over the Moltres, I just need to have it for, like, a second or two, just so I can log it into my Pokedex, then I'll send it right back to you, and I did. I was true to my word. I forget who that guy is, so you can't ask him for verification, but trust me, I did it. Besides, he won't be talking to anybody from now on anyway. Anyway, so yeah, if you have any of the legendary Pokemon that are below, like Zekrom, Reshiram, Kyurem, whatever, and you've already transferred them over, if you have Pokemon Bank, you know, and you want to transfer them, and you have them over on your Pokemon X or Pokemon Y, if you just want to trade them to me for just, like, you know, a second. Hand over my heart here, guys. I will give it back to you, okay? I'm not going to steal your Mew and run off to another foreign, like, and just turn off my DS for all eternity. I'm pretty sure I have all your friend codes at this point. I mean, I had 2 videos prior, but in case you don't have mine, here's my friend code right here, having fun with my friend code. So if you want, you know, that, go ahead. Because there's so many Pokemon on this list, I might not be able to update this as much, because I'm just going to have to go through the whole thing every single day, and I'll have to update it. So what I'm going to do is, usually with these, when I receive the Pokemon that was on the list, I usually just mark done right next to the Pokemon, like, hey, I need a Volcarona. Okay, somebody sent me a Volcarona, but thanks for the Volcarona, by the way. But I'll type in done after that. I think for this one, I'm just going to remove the Pokemon altogether, just for sanity's sake, to keep the list, because the list is already huge, so I'm just going to cut it down. You know, there's some Pokemon in the GTS I was actually surprised I was able to get on my own. I have all the Johto starters, I have all the Kanto starters, I have all the Hoenn starters. I still need Sinnoh, all of Sinnoh and all of Unavo. I have all the Kalos starters, of course. But from pretty much in terms of legendaries, though, it's pretty much a dry well, because even on the GTS, the only, like, if, for example, I typed in Raikou just for some kicks, and Raikou is like, yeah, I'll trade you a Raikou for another Raikou, or a Suicune. Suicunes are huge. Like, if you have a Suicune, and you, like, please, send me the Suicune. I will send it right back to you, but apparently Suicune is, like, the most prominent form of currency in the GTS at the moment, is a freaking Suicune. So, yeah, they're everywhere. Like, every Pokemon you look at, doesn't matter, like Lugia, Ho-Ho, whatever, it's gonna have Suicune marked in there. Suicune was never my favorite legendary dog anyway. Go Raikou, freaking Thunder, that freaking Mistwater dog, whatever he's supposed to be. Anyway, you can probably tell I haven't slept in a couple of days. I have. I'm just, like, pumped on Pokemon Fever right now. So, I really want this to end. So, once again, list is below. I've gone on for long enough. You know, you're not obligated to if you don't have to, if you don't want to, of course. You completely ignore this if that's all right with you. It's just that I would really like to fill this sucker up. I have no idea what's going to happen once I get it all filled up, and I'm pretty sure there's people in the world that have already finished their Pokedex, because I'm assuming there's people in Japan that already have every other Pokemon in their, you know, in like Generation 5, so all I had to do was transfer them all over. So they probably know what happens, and the information is probably available what happens when you get all 718 Pokemon, but please do not spoil it for me, because that would just ruin the whole day. I'd probably throw my 3DS out the fucking window if that was the case. Like, oh yeah, checking, this guy, he got all 718, and all you get is, like, $1,000. I'd be like, ah! Fucker. 1,000 Pokedollars. I'm not meaning $1,000. If I actually got $1,000, like, you know, a little message pops up and just like, please input your checking account number so we could forward you $1,000 in whatever your country's currency is. Okay, you wasted so much time of your life. Anyway, so, thank you for everybody that helped me up to this point. Really, I never thought I would get this far, especially with Generation 6. Like, well, as soon as Gen 6 was released, I'm thinking, 718 Pokemon, that's freaking huge. You'd have to be a madman to try to catch them all.